ending Operation Chokepoint 2.0.
As you said, you're a pioneer in this place, and this is where we're going. We're using the blockchain, we're using Bitcoin, we're going to use digital assets to pound forward, and Donald Trump is leading the way. Can't be more proud of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Me and the other people in this room do believe that the crypto, blockchain, Web3 infrastructure is the next iteration of the financial system. And I think that the U.S. should have its leadership position continue in that new financial system.
The reason why we need a Bitcoin reserve is that the federal government already owns some. In fact, it obtained around 400,000 Bitcoin over the past decade through criminal and civil forfeitures and seizures. And so the government has to have a strategy for how it deals with this. In the past, the strategy has been simply to sell it, in an ad hoc way, almost willy-nilly. And that cost American taxpayers something like $17 billion in lost value. So we want to have a long-term strategy to maximize the value of these holdings. And we've decided that Bitcoin is scarce, it's valuable, and that it's strategic for the United States to hold on to this as a long-term reserve asset. So that's the plan with the 200,000 Bitcoin that we believe are in the possession of the federal government. I say we believe because no one really knows for sure because we never had a proper audit. So that's one of the first things that this executive order provides, that we're going to do a full government-wide audit to find out what digital assets we actually have so they can be safeguarded and moved into a strategy that maximizes their long-term value.
Right.
Figure out what do we actually have on the federal balance sheet, and we're going to move those, like you said, all coins or digital assets other than Bitcoin into a stockpile for safekeeping. The difference there is that the Secretary of the Treasury will exercise responsible stewardship over those assets, and he has the discretion to rebalance the portfolio or to sell items in that portfolio. But that's not true for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin we want to keep long-term. So there's a difference there in objective. With the reserve, the goal is long-term preservation. With the stockpile, the goal is responsible stewardship, portfolio management in essence.
Reserve, what qualifies as budget neutral? Can you give us some examples of how that would actually work?
Well, budget neutral just means it won't cost the taxpayer anything. It won't increase the deficit. It won't increase the debt. So that's basically the constraints on what they can do. If they can figure out creative ways to add to the stock, to the reserve of Bitcoin, they're allowed to accumulate more Bitcoin. But again, it cannot impose any burden on the federal deficit, debt, or the taxpayer.
I am a big proponent of the U.S. taking the worldwide lead in crypto. I think we have to bring it onshore and they use our best practices and regulation. I think that the Bitcoin reserve, before you can accumulate it, you have to stop selling it. We're starting with Bitcoin, but it's an overall crypto reserve.
Top 10% of Americans are 40 or 50% of consumption, and that is an unstable equilibrium. The bottom 50% of working Americans have gotten killed. We are trying to address that. We're trying to get rates down, and could we be seeing that this economy that we inherited starting to roll a bit? Sure. And look, there's going to be a natural adjustment as we move away from public spending to private spending. The market and the economy have just become hooked. We've become addicted to this government spending, and there's going to be a detox period.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have the Crypto Summit. And Trump being the pioneer of this new digital economy, the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And guys, this is definitely biblical. And Trump is going to go down in history for bringing in this new system. And if you don't understand it, you can go to the book of Revelations. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have David Sachs on the Crypto Strategic Reserve, but not buying the assets. And like I told y'all before, Jerome Powell already told us ECB, Christine Lagarde already told us central banks aren't buying it. They're getting it for free. And it wouldn't surprise me if these altcoins started donating these cryptos to the government. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we had Scott Besson says the U.S. needs to lead in this crypto industry. And his job is to get us from the U.S. dollar to stable coins. That's his mission. Remember, these stable coins are the foundation of this new economy. He has to get us on a level playing field by devaluing the dollar and move us over to these stable coins. And don't forget, guys, these stable coins are programmable. With smart contracts, they'll be able to tell you what, when, and how to buy. And you have 3 to 6 months to spend them or poof, it's gone. And again, guys, that's biblical. And Scott Besson talks about the United States economy. Yes, it's going to roll over a bit because what? We need to detox from all this spending. Remember, guys, they have to cut this deficit to get us to the level playing field. They printed 80% of all money in existence to destroy this fiat, so therefore we can move over to this new digital economy. And we know all fiat dies, so why not destroy it yourself? But unfortunately, we're moving over to everything being tokenized, 3D printing, going from the real world to the virtual world. Your life will be a video game. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And teamwork makes the dream work. A Patreon member sent me this video of Chainlink Sergey speaking on stablecoins. And these stablecoin issuers have to buy U.S. treasuries. Why? Because it keeps the Fed and the central banks in control of the money supply. That's not changing. Yes, you're going to get different types of yields, different type of staking, but the Fed is not giving up control of the money supply because I care not who makes the laws. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we had Jerome in the house today. And what did the Fed say? They're in no rush. Remember, they're keeping rates high for longer to destroy this legacy market so the fourth industrial revolution can rise. And he spoke about all the moving pieces that could happen, including tariffs, but they're going to sit back and then react, which they should be cutting rates because they have all the history in the world. They have all the simulations in the world. They know for a fact tariffs are going to increase pricing. They know tariffs are going to increase job loss. On top of all the job loss we're going to have anyway due to the machine takeover, they're waiting because they know it's going to put more pain on the market. Remember, this is a plan that moves in phases. And we get that jobs report, and every time we get one, it has to be revised. And when you take January and February revised numbers, we're at negative 2,000. Yes, you heard that correct. And it's only going to get worse. You have a lot of people on severance that's not included. And then on top of it, we have more job cuts coming due to the machine takeover. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
In the vast majority of cases, there's just always two sides to this equation. There's the form of payment, and there's the asset that you're buying with the form of payment, right? So the stable coin for me is a payment rail, right? It's a new payment rail that has all kinds of efficiencies. And the more people that have stable coins, the larger the market is that can buy the asset, right? So that's how I view stable coins, is that the more people have stable coins, the more institutions allow their clients to use stable coins, the more of a frictionless user base to buy a blockchain-based asset. Now, the blockchain-based assets that are now popular, interestingly, despite the cryptocurrency's original stuff about replacing the government and whatever government things, is U.S. Treasuries. So the real use case for blockchain technology after speculative cryptocurrencies and meme coins and so on is tokenizing U.S. Treasuries, whether it's in a fund structure or whether it's in a more direct form. And the reason for that actually is twofold. One fold is the yield that you get from those treasuries, which has obviously gone up massively to very, very big highs on a recent time scale. And the second reason is actually that the the need for diversification in the on-chain financial world is very, very great. So many of the failure modes for financial products in the on-chain world is that it's a crypto thing backed by a crypto thing with an underlying asset of a crypto thing with collateral of a crypto thing. And at the end of the road, and then that is wrapped up and secured by a crypto thing. And so when the crypto stuff goes down in price, it's not so good for everything that's collateralized 3 levels up or down by crypto stuff, right? That's where you get collapses like Terra, right? Where things can very rapidly devalue because they're so tied to one asset class. So actually the public blockchain world is willing to pay a significant premium for diversification, more significant than the traditional financial system where you have a very large array of financial products to create diversification. And U.S. Treasuries are pretty far from, the crypto thing. I think what's going to happen next is you're going to have more and more assets that create greater and greater diversification, and they help the on-chain financial world manage risk. And then you're also going to have new asset types that historically were very hard to own. Fractional ownership of real estate, fractional ownership of some kind of private equity fund, things that you want to own, but the cost of owning or the cost of transacting in or the cost of creating a market in was just too large. And then the third thing that I hope will happen, which will make the crypto version of the financial system the best version of all financial systems, is if someone can finally figure out how to get yield on traditionally non-yield bearing assets, like gold. That would be a very big deal. But I think those are the 3 things.
Data released last week show that total PCE prices rose 2.5% over the 12 months ending in January, and that core PCE rose 2.6%. We pay close attention to a broad range of measures of inflation expectations, and some near-term measures have recently moved up. We see this in both market and survey-based measures, and survey respondents, both consumers and businesses, are mentioning tariffs as a driving factor. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term expectations remain stable and consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Looking ahead, the new administration is in the process of implementing significant policy changes in 4 distinct areas: trade, immigration, fiscal policy, and regulation. It is the net effect of these policy changes that will matter for the economy and for the path of monetary policy. While there have been recent developments in some of these areas, especially trade policy, uncertainty around the changes and their likely effects remains high. As we parse the incoming information, we are focused on separating the signal from the noise as the outlook evolves. We do not need to be in a hurry, and we are well positioned to wait for greater clarity.
Nervous that this number was 151,000. 151,000 is our February read on the creation of non-farm jobs, with a slight revision from last month from 143 to 125. And if you look at the combined 2-month revision, it turns out to be minus 2,000. Now,
my view is that we've got a shortage of labor in the United States and around the world, particularly skilled labor. And Scott, I agree with your observation that we're going to see a lot of automation, a lot of robotics, and humanoid robots in manufacturing. We keep talking about bringing all these companies back to increase employment, but the unemployment rate is 4.1%. So we really don't actually have all the people out there that need jobs.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, And then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.